Hospital officials are allegedly leaking bombshell details about Prince Harry's shocking condition, claims that he was rushed into a hospital bed and is now bedridden. This isn't just breaking news, it's being framed as proof that Harry's world is collapsing. Piers Morgan has seized on this, accusing Harry of abandoning control, care, and caution. In Morgan's eyes, this isn't a prince facing a momentary health setback.
Meghan Markle, she may have stepped down from royal duties more than 5 years ago, but she keeps taking aim at the monarchy. The Duchess of Sussex has made reportedly at least half a dozen swipes at the royal family this year, and it's only June.
Did you see my baby mama dance?
I mean, stop it. First of all, can I just tell you, the timing of that, we maybe watched it like 20 times yesterday, and I was like, is that her?
Oh my God.
Is that Prince Harry there with the fingers and the... I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, by the way, that wasn't yesterday.
No, true.
That was 4 years ago. So it's also a really great reminder that with all the noise or whatever people do, there's still a whole life, a real, authentic, fun life that's happening behind the scenes. I'm just grateful that now, being back on social as well, I have a place where I can share it on my own terms.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. It's so authentic, isn't it?
It's a man unraveling under the weight of his own choices. And nobody's pulling punches. Whispers began circulating in the early morning hours, just vague enough to sound fake, until too many sources started saying the same thing. Prince Harry, allegedly found unwell at his private residence, was rushed to a nearby hospital under tight security. Not a routine checkup, not a scheduled visit. This was described as an emergency response. Blue lights, sealed hallway, overnight lockdown. Eyewitnesses claim the ambulance arrived unmarked but left with haste. There was no press, no photographs, no statement from Meghan. According to one leak, Harry was admitted for immediate observation and was placed in full inpatient care, bedbound, and closely monitored.
She spreads her legs, she hikes her dress, she circles her genitals.
Sources even claimed he was isolated in a restricted access wing, guarded not just by medical staff, but private security. And then came the first wave of speculation. Was it physical exhaustion? A panic-induced collapse? Something far more complex? The narrative online immediately veered toward the worst-case scenario. Not because there were answers, because there was silence. And in the world of royals, silence fuels chaos.
As ever, her new company, the very first thing she said was, look, when I had the TIG, which was her previous lifestyle website, I loved cooking and I loved gardening and being a hostess, and she basically said I had to keep my light under a bushel at this time because of the royal family. Then we get her show, her Netflix show.
Everybody says she's a bully, she's very nasty. Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about...
Piers Morgan didn't hesitate. He went straight for the jugular, labeling it a terrifying health scandal and suggesting the monarchy had been hiding something for months. The tone wasn't concern, it was accusation. But the fallout was only beginning. Within hours, social media ignited. Hashtags like #HarryHospitalized, #SussexViral, and #MorganReckoning lit up platforms like a digital bonfire. Twitter was unhinged. TikTok creators dropped instant theories. YouTube pundits rushed to break it down frame by frame. Everyone wanted in on the story, and no one was holding back. Some users demanded truth. They questioned why no palace statement had been issued. Others lashed out at Morgan, calling his timing cruel and opportunistic. But for every critic, there were two more doubling down.
End of every episode, it says, the starring, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Yes.
That's how she's...
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard.
She talks like she's a one-woman band. That is not hard work. Hard work is get up in the morning, get to 7 o'clock, get into a factory or a shop and working for 10 hours on your feet, coming home knackered. That's not what happens to her.
And still being a mom.
That is
still
not
being
what
a
happens to
mom.
her.
Framing the hospitalization as proof that Harry had finally hit the wall after years of high-speed self-promotion and defiance. One British tabloid ran a banner headline, PR exception turned PR nightmare. Another posted side-by-side shots of Harry in uniform versus Harry allegedly being wheeled into the hospital, asking readers, where did it all go wrong? Late-night talk shows dropped veiled jokes. Comment sections turned brutal. Sympathy wasn't the headline. Collapse was. What rattled the public even more wasn't what was being said. It was what wasn't. No updates from the Sussex's press team. No, we're asking for privacy message. Just silence, feeding the frenzy.
Her creativity being stunted. She says that when, she first, and, as a result of the royal family, she says that when she became a mum, she would have thought that she'd be able to have a baby on her hip and give speeches. But then, the whole drama and the pain and everything that was caused by being part of the royal family.
Mornings are as I get the kids off to school. You're making fruit parfait crudité boards? Like
my God.
whom? She is Harry Sussex. I have no idea. And no, Meghan, no one knew that. Like, why are you correct?
The media saw a vacuum and they flooded it with analysis, with spin, and with personal attacks. But royal circles weren't waiting. Inside the palace, tensions were spiking. Kensington aides, blindsided by the public frenzy, were reportedly furious. Not just at the leak, but at the fact that Morgan had, once again, seized the spotlight and reshaped the narrative before they could even pick up the phone. One courtier allegedly called it a direct shot at the monarchy's blind side. Meetings were happening behind closed doors. Advisors were debating whether to issue a formal response or let it blow over.
But they made a big fuss. So she said, all right, well, I noticed and others noticed that her mother didn't look happy being there. She did come, but she did look a bit fed up and cross. And someone told me that actually what the problem is that she didn't want her mother to speak because she's told so many lies. Her mother won't agree with them and she will correct her, so she couldn't risk it.
Medical staff from royal-connected clinics were said to be on standby for comment, but the risk of saying the wrong thing was too high. And the Crown's greatest fear? That any official acknowledgement would confirm the severity of the situation. Meanwhile, Harry's allies were fractured. Some high-profile friends were seen entering private facilities in Los Angeles, presumably to check on him. Others, known for loudly backing the Sussexes on social media, were suddenly silent. The same influencers who once championed Harry and Meghan as the future of modern royalty were ghosting the story entirely. The palace is bracing. Every step from here on is a minefield. If they defend Harry too strongly, they draw more attention. If they stay quiet, they look cold. Either way, one wrong move, and this becomes a headline that lives for months, not days. Yet, what comes next cuts deeper. Strip away the palace walls, the streaming deals, and the Netflix-approved soundbites. What's left is a man under siege. Once a battle-tested royal who stood tall through tragedy, military tours, and tabloid takedowns, Prince Harry is now allegedly a figure in crisis. What was supposed to be resilience looks more like deterioration. What once read as boldness is now being recast as recklessness. Piers Morgan didn't just react, he pounced. He described the situation not as an isolated health scare, but as the natural end of a spiral. According to Morgan and others in the British press, Harry's downfall isn't shocking.
But nonetheless, the producers also said they would like her mother to show her how to cook something, and she apparently screamed and shouted and would not have it.
As a silent wallet, he cut off communication completely. That's right, Tyler Perry, the man who gave them a roof when no one else would, has officially walked away. And from the tone of his message, he won't be coming back. One of the most jaw-dropping moments in Perry's speech came when he revealed that Meghan tried.
It was simply a matter of time. Overexposure, overcommitment, and an unchecked ego, they claim, brought him here. Whether you agree or not, the shift in narrative is undeniable. Suddenly, headlines don't call him a trailblazer. They call him a cautionary tale. Public voices are drawing stark contrasts, comparing the strong, uniformed prince of a decade ago with the allegedly frail, reclusive figure behind hospital doors today. The transformation isn't just physical, it's symbolic. And the damage doesn't stop at perception. It cuts deep into the image Harry's tried so hard to control. A man who once walked away from royal pressure is now reportedly crumbling under a different kind, the weight of self-made obligation. Still, the stakes go further. With Harry allegedly facing a personal health crisis, the world expected a partner's presence. A hospital statement, a visit, a hand held through tinted glass. But Meghan Markle?
I'm going to show you how to make a happy, warm, loving home after I have successfully severed my husband's ties from his entire family.
Before we even get to the main event.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile.
Silent. No tweet. No press release. Not even a vague post through Archwell. The lack of response wasn't just noticeable, it was explosive. Critics wasted no time. Meghan, they said, was making a calculated choice, protecting her public image by staying strategically removed. After all, she's got projects in motion, branding deals stacked, and a carefully managed public persona that doesn't benefit from hospital drama. But others weren't so kind. Some accused her of abandonment. Others saw it as a PR decision dressed up as emotional restraint. Even longtime defenders started asking questions. If their bond is as strong as they present, where is she? Where's the support? And why hasn't anyone from her team made a single move to quell the firestorm? The silence became more than absence. It became ammunition. Meghan's critics spun it as disinterest. Her fans claimed it was privacy. But in a moment like this, where visibility could end speculation, her disappearance from the public eye was like pouring gasoline on an already raging blaze. And while the silence screamed, behind the scenes, something else was unraveling. The Sussexes built their empire on one thing: control. Control of their story. Control of their image. Control of how and when the public sees their truth. From Oprah specials to podcast reveals, every move was calculated. Until now. Because suddenly that precision? Gone. No Instagram carousel to explain the situation. No Archwell blog update with poetic clarity. Instead, silence, cancellations, and panicked whispers. Sources say media bookings have been quietly postponed. Podcast episodes delayed. Netflix timelines pushed back. Public appearances erased from calendars without explanation. The message? They're not ready, and that's the problem. Their PR team, once praised for turning controversy into content, is reportedly scrambling. Without a coordinated response, media vultures are circling. One insider claimed their team is in lockdown mode, trying to draft a narrative that won't backfire. But the longer they wait, the harder it becomes. Because in the court of public opinion, delays don't signal strategy. They signal disaster. And every moment without a clear message is another opportunity for outsiders, Morgan, the tabloids, royal critics, to fill the void with venom. This wasn't just a stumble. It was a full collapse of the media fortress they'd spent years building. And what happened next would upend everything. In the shadow of Harry's alleged hospitalization, another machine is reportedly springing to life, the palace PR war room. For years, the royal household largely refrained from open warfare with the Sussexes. But now? Sources suggest senior advisors see a rare and golden opportunity. Harry's vulnerability opens the door for strategic repositioning. Trusted royal correspondents are allegedly being looped in. Leaks, not from tabloids, but from within the institution, are quietly reframing the story. Resilience of the crown. Dignity in the face of betrayal. These aren't offhand remarks. They're message-tested phrases, prepped for rollout in press briefings and Sunday editorials. Insiders whisper that key patronages once held by Harry, veteran-focused, mental health, adjacent, public service, based, may be reassigned soon. On the surface, an act of continuity. Behind the curtain, a subtle but brutal erasure. A way to symbolically cut off Harry's relevance while he's allegedly too incapacitated to fight back. It's more than optics. This is surgical reputation management. The palace isn't attacking, they're reclaiming space. Redefining the post-Sussex monarchy as steady, unshaken, above the drama. And with Meghan staying silent and Harry allegedly sidelined, no counterpunch is coming. What started as a health scare now looks like a pivot point, a clean slate for the firm, and a purge in everything but name. This situation isn't just spiraling, it's becoming a breaking point. The longer this unfolds, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a PR incident. It's a global referendum on everything Harry and Meghan have built. Their brand was once rooted in bravery, transparency, emotional honesty. But now, every second of silence chips away at that foundation. If Harry steps back to recover, even temporarily, the narrative shifts. He cedes control of his public identity, opening the door for others to define it for him. It risks making him look retreating, defeated, broken. And in a media ecosystem that thrives on strength, perception is everything. If he doesn't step back, if he presses forward with projects, appearances, interviews, he risks pushing through illness, deepening whatever crisis may already be unfolding. That, too, carries consequences. It risks backlash, exploitation claims, another collapse. Meghan, meanwhile, is in her own vice grip. Her silence is being interpreted in every direction: coldness, calculation, embarrassment, or strategic poise. There's no winning read. Every option comes with risk. And for the monarchy, this may go down as a masterclass in soft power. A demonstration that even in chaos, the crown doesn't need to shout. It merely waits, shifts, and outlasts. But most of all, for the public, it's irresistible. A live unraveling, a real-time reckoning, with no press releases to soften the blow, no Oprah sit-down to reset the frame. This is raw, and it's riveting. What began as whispers of hospitalization has become a high-stakes, high-visibility collapse of one of the most carefully controlled public figures on the planet. And what comes next may redefine the modern monarchy. Hospital officials are allegedly the first to break Harry's private in the hospital. And from that alleged leak, a cascade of conflict, crisis, and control has erupted. It's more than a health scare. It's a referendum on identity, influence, and power. Will Harry retreat or roar back? Will Meghan speak up or stay silent? Will the palace reclaim authority or escalate this into a full-blown royal reset? Here's the cliffhanger. Whichever side wins next will shape the future of the monarchy and of Harry himself. Drop your take below. Are you placing bets on a comeback or watching a legacy unravel?